Hey, what's up guys? Jason here again, and I'm going to be doing another video in my director's retrospective series, and today I'm going to be doing Brad Anderson. And yeah, Brad Anderson is one of my favorite modern horror film directors, and a lot of you guys probably know him mainly for Session 9, which I think is probably one of the best horror films to come out in the past, 10, 15 years for sure. But yeah, I'm going to go over some of his films that he's directed here. And in 1995, he started directing films with Frankenstein's Planet of Monsters. And I haven't seen that. I think it's kind of hard to find. Probably like a small independent film. And then in 2000, he had uh, he had Happy Accidents, starring Vincent D'Onofrio from the guy from Full Metal Jacket. The guy they all called Pyle, like Gomer Pyle. You probably know what I'm talking about. And Marissa Tomei. And this is it's a very interesting film. It's kind of like a sci-fi romance movie, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I definitely recommend checking that one out. And in 2001, he directed Session 9, as I mentioned before. And this stars David Caruso, among others. But it's just a very atmospheric movie and a very freaky movie, especially the first time you watch it. And I remember I saw this film. I think I just like blindly rented it one day back soon after it came out on DVD. And I wasn't really huge into horror at the time when I saw it, but definitely one of the films that got me back into the horror genre. Um, and I'm glad I found it, and I definitely recommend it for all you guys to check out. If you haven't seen it, please check out Session 9. And 2004, he directed The Machinist, and this stars Christian Bale. And probably the main thing people remember about this movie is Christian Bale actually lost 63 pounds to play the lead character of Trevor Resnick, something like that. I know the name is a reference to Trent Reznor, the lead singer of Nine Inch Nails, or the main guy in Nine Inch Nails. And yeah, The Machinist is an awesome movie. I really wouldn't call it horror, but it does have a lot of horror elements in it. It's you'd probably classify it as like a mind-bending drama, but yeah, really cool flick. That's probably two of my favorite of his films, Session 9 and then The Machinist. Definitely check out The Machinist. I promise you'll enjoy it. If you like films, I can't really compare it to anything, but if you like the mind-bending genre of films, you'll probably enjoy this one as well. And then, let's see, he's had a lot of TV work as well. 2006, he directed an episode of the show Surface, which I think is a pretty cool show. In 2006, he directed a Masters of Horror episode called Sounds Like, and this stars Chris Bauer. I think he plays Andy Belflor on the show True Blood, so you probably will recognize him from that. But I just rewatched this episode the other day for this video, and it's a really cool, short film, just an hour long film, and it's really interesting. It has a lot of things you don't see in a lot of modern horror films. So I definitely recommend y'all check that one out as well. And he directed a few episodes of The Wire. And then in 2008, he directed the film Trans-Siberian. This stars Woody Harrelson, Ben Kingsley, and Emily Mortimer, I believe is her name. And I just rewatched this film the other day, and it's a really interesting film. I didn't like it at all the first time I saw it, but I think when I watched it, I was expecting it to be a full-on horror movie, and it's not a horror film at all. It's really a thriller. But yeah, this is about the Trans-Siberian Railway, which is really interesting. I've always been interested in the Trans-Siberian Railway, and this, the majority of the film takes place on that. And it's about this couple who I think they're on like a missionary trip or something in China, and they're going to ride the Trans-Siberian Railway railway to Moscow, I think. But for some reason, they're on the railway, and they get mixed up with a couple of folks who are smuggling heroin. And then Ben Kingsley's character is kind of like the Nemesis character who's working for the police in Russia. And it's a really interesting film. It has a lot of shots of the snow, and I watched it in HD, and it looks really good in HD. So I'd recommend you check that film out as well if you enjoy the thriller style of film. In 2008, he directed an episode of Fear Itself, and that episode is called Spooked, and it stars Eric Roberts. And I'm not a huge fan of the Fear Itself show. That's Masters of Horror went over to one of the network channels, maybe NBC, and they changed the name to Fear Itself. But it's still all done by Mick Garris. And this is definitely one of the better episodes in the series. It only lasted for one season. But yeah, if you have the time and you can get it for free, I'd recommend checking that out. I know they've shown a lot of those on the fearnet.com, and also FearNet On Demand if you have. I know we have Comcast cable, and it's on there as well. It's been on there times before. And 2010, he directed a film, or an episode of the TV series Trim Me, and I'm not familiar with that at all, so can't really speak on that. 2010, this film's not out on DVD yet, but I watched it on demand. He directed Vanishing on 7th Street, and stars John Leguizamo and whoever the guy that played Anakin, the older version of Anakin in the new Star Wars films. The guy that can't act his way out of a wet paper bag, but I can't think of his name. But I did a review for this over on the House of Horror channel if you're interested. But I'm not really going to go into too much detail on this film, but I didn't really enjoy it. I'm not going to say it was a badly directed film. I just think the writing was not very good, and the casting is probably the worst part about the film. But with the exception of Vanishing on 7th Street, I do really enjoy the majority of Brad Anderson's films. But not a big fan of that one. It may just be my personal taste, but I didn't get a lot of enjoyment out of it. And also in 2010, he directed an episode of the TV series Rubicon, the TV series Boardwalk Empire, which I'm a huge fan of that show. And I'm not sure what episodes he directed, but I'm a huge fan of Boardwalk Empire. Really looking forward to season 2. And an episode of Undercovers. And he's also directed a few episodes of the show Fringe. And I've caught a few episodes of that series. I haven't really gotten into it, but I'm going to try to watch some more of it, see if I can get into it a little more. And he has a few projects that are in production now. A film called Jack, 2011, and this is in pre-production. And this is a thriller starring Liv Shriver and Samuel L. Jackson. So kind of interesting cast there, but I'll definitely check that one out when it comes out. And he also has another film that's been announced called All Lost Souls. So sounds like a horror film. I hope he sticks to the horror genre. But yeah, like I said, with the exception of Vanishing on 7th Street, I'm a big fan of his work. And I definitely recommend you guys check out some of his films if you haven't seen them already. And thanks for watching. Peace.